Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Notebook. We are here for the grand finale, and what a finish it was here at the Gfinity Arena. We have had our World Drivers' Championship crowned and also our Constructors' Championship, the one where the money is earned, of course, in the World Drivers' Championship. And what a thrilling few races. Cal, you've got a bit of we got confetti all over the place. There was a big old... There you go, we can just throw this up. There we go. Great finale, and good champion was crowned at the end of the day. But let's go through the races, because that is what we are here to do. And let's start off with the newly crowned Constructors champions, which are, of course, Red Bull Racing. They had a great season. They didn't actually get as many race wins as we thought they would compared to the likes of Ferrari, but they were just consistent. Two drivers consistent across the whole season. Frederick Rasmussen doing a great job, picking up 3 wins at the end of the season, and then also having the likes of Joni Tomala and Nicholas Longley, getting that podium, of course, in Monza, which it definitely was vital to this championship-winning season. So going through their results, let's start off with them. So the first race at the Japanese Grand Prix, Frederick Rasmussen gets the race win and then also a fastest lap for him. So well done to Freddie boy, showing loads of emotion, as he always does after these races. So a great job from him. Then we go into the next race, and it's another race win for Rasmussen, doing what he needed to do, because of course he was involved in a championship battle for the championship, obviously, for the Drivers' Championship, not just the Constructors. And having that battle with Tonizza, and needed to get the job done, which he did at the end of the day. He didn't actually. He didn't get the championship done, but he got the race win. He got the race win. That's what he needed to do in Austin. But then, unfortunately, just not getting the result in Brazil in the final race. The championship was on the line for him, and he just didn't get it done, unfortunately, because inside story, didn't have any practice. These guys usually, for this team, they've got 3 really good top drivers. So all of them are going to be practicing, and you've got to give a fair chance to each of them. So maybe Freddie was told in the back room, just saying, you're not going to do Brazil. We're going to give it to Nicholas. So Nicholas got Brazil. So Freddie's just like, okay, I won't practice for Brazil then. I'll put all my effort and all my hours into Suzuka and Austin, which he did, and it showed because he got the 2 race wins. But then the championship's on the line. He's leading the championship. You cannot have the championship leader not take part in the final race, because that means that Tonizza only has to score, I think it was like 8th or above, to be crowned the Drivers' World Champion. So you had to have him race. Unfortunately, not having practice just shows in a series like this. It's not like real life F1 where some drivers might be like, I can't be bothered to do any simulator work. They actually have to be practicing hours and hours and hours on end to get the lap times down to the small little margins that they have compared to all the other drivers. We have unfortunately been kicked out of the Gfinity Arena, and this is get to show you the backstage of what happens and where it all is. It's just in a cinema in the middle of Fulham Broadway. Hello. There's James Baldwin over there. Just in the middle of a cinema room. You wouldn't expect anything to be here when the F1 Esports branding is not around, but there's a cinema, and feel free to come down to Fulham Broadway and watch a film. I don't know what film's on at the moment. Can we see? At the moment there's 21 Bridges, Doctor Sleep, Knives Out, and Last Christmas. I think most of those are probably too old for you lot, but maybe Last Christmas if you want to watch some Christmas films over this festive period. Anyway, let's get on with the notebook and let's go through. So we were talking about Red Bull Racing, and we were talking about Freddie not having the pace in Brazil because he didn't get to practice, and the amount of hours that these guys have to put in practice, so missing out on something like that has just got to be huge for him. And it's a shame because he had the title fight, and I just don't get why they didn't think about it. He was in second in the running for the Drivers' Championship coming into this event. Surely you'd think about, do you know what if we do get race wins, we do get the points on Tonizza, and we are going into it with a battle. Think about these things. Maybe, okay, yes, the Drivers' Championship. Come here, oi. Come here. Happy with P3?
Oh yeah, really happy. After event 1, couldn't really have asked for anything more, to be honest. Danny did a great job in Brazil. Only 8 points behind Ferrari, which is just a little bit frustrating because we could have easily got P2. But yeah, we'll come back stronger next year, and I think we've got to fight for the championship now. We've really got to level things up and take on Red Bull and Ferrari.
Yeah, well, we wish you luck, and it was down to the wire. Heart attacks.
I've got photo shoots to go into.
Oh, perfect. Right, well, you run. Go. See you later. James, off you go. Right, let's carry on. Red Bull Racing. Okay, so, it's a bit weird that they just didn't think about the potential that he would be fighting for the Drivers' Championship. Maybe he didn't want it. Maybe he's not that, it is Frederick Rasmussen at the end of the day. He's kind of just sat there just like, yeah, I want to race. And what? Doesn't mean anything. So for him, maybe the Drivers' Championship didn't mean anything because it doesn't. Really, it's all for pride. But the thing that is important is the Constructors' Championship because that is where the money is made. And that's really what you need. If you win the Constructors' Championship, you're getting money. If you win the Drivers' Championship, you just get to take home a trophy at the end of the day and everyone gets to call you a 1 or 2 times or 3 times Drivers' World Champion if we ever get to that stage. So maybe he was just thinking about that, thinking for the team and thinking like, Nicholas is quicker than me here, but they had it wrapped up. So I suppose that they could do that driver switch and they got it done in the end, just trying to see if we can catch anyone on the way out as they're getting kicked out too. So, on with Red Bull, Joni Tormala, 8th in the first race in Japan, then 11th, then 5th. It was a bit weird that he didn't try and hold up the guys more in the third race, in the finale. He didn't try and hold up the guys behind him because obviously Rasmussen was behind him and he's fighting for the championship. So maybe Tormala should have just held him up a little bit more and trying to help Rasmussen for the championship, or even let him through to just gain 1 position because you never know what could happen. Tonizza went round the outside in towards the final lap. It could have been a collision between those two, and it could have been race over. So, you never know at the end of the day. But let's move on to Ferrari. Tonizza doing what he does best: consistency. Consistency is key, and that is what gets you the Drivers' Championship, and that is what he done at the end of the day. 4th in the first race in Japan, then it was a 6th in Austin, and then 2nd, and confirming the Drivers' World Championship in the final race in Brazil. Consistency, we talk about it all the time, it's what you need in this championship, and if you have it and if you're mentally stable, you will be up near the top, and that's exactly what he did. And a good champion as well, very likeable but very fun character, having his little mascot as well, the dinosaur, getting called Tonzilla in the first race, and being very Italian and flamboyant, and that's what you want from your champion. You want someone with a bit of personality. So good for David Tonizza, good for him as we're watching James Baldwin. Here he is, the world's fastest gamer. We haven't seen you on. Hello.
There, sorry.
Hello.
All right.
I just snuck in there. Did you enjoy? Oh, I've got a hat. Is this a Christmas hat? Oh, getting in the festive spirit. Christmas is just around the corner. What are you getting for Christmas this year?
Hopefully you.
Oh, well, I mean, if I'm not, going to be your present for Christmas, P3, you got to be happy with that.
That's a really good Christmas present, actually. You got.
That's all you're getting for this year. So.
Oh, okay. Cheers, Santa. That was pretty good, to be fair. Where we were at the start of the day, P4, miles off.
Yeah,
to
bad
be fair.
First race as well.
Yeah, so
difficult.
Yeah, no points, and then minimal points race 2, and then race 3. Not only was it entertaining, it was just sick.
Big question though. Big question. Will we be seeing you competing here next year, or wherever this ends up going?
Yes.
Yes? Are you confident?
Yes.
Okay, well, you've heard it here first. We will be seeing Jimmy Baldwin in the next year's event.
100%.
Cool. Well, you can go.
We'll
where are
be
you off to?
you competing next year.
Oh, well, I better get my my racing gloves on, get my boots on, and if you train me, and we'll do it. We'll do it.
We've got them on Esports, so
we'll start up a team. We'll start up a team together.
Yeah.
And we'll do it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
For that.
Right. Well, you get off. You go party, and we'll come join you later. Cool, right, see you later then. Right, carrying on with the teams. Ferrari, well done to David Tonizza, World Drivers' Championship. Must be absolutely elated with that. Lorito not really doing that great of a job. It was a very one-sided team in Ferrari, so 20th and then 17th. And then in the last race, it was Giglioli who got 15th position. So it sort of went better throughout the day for the second driver in Ferrari, but they didn't really need it at the end of the day because they have Tonizza at the front doing his best. And maybe next year they look into getting a better driver. All these 2 drivers, they teach them how to sort of step up their game, give them more hours to practice, and they could even be helping Ferrari to challenge for the Constructors' World Championship, which we said is where the money is. So they need to be doing that because they've won the Drivers' Championship. They've got second, I believe it was, in the Constructors, which is a good amount of money. It is a good amount of money because you get money all the way down until 9th position. But you want that first. You want to get the most that you possibly can out of it. Now, moving on to Alfa Romeo, as they secured third place in the Constructors' Championship, right at the wire, giving, as we said to Jamie, a heart attack, putting it right on the wire, right at the final lap as Tonizza went round the outside. I'm pretty sure if he got that move done, they would have lost P3 in the Constructors' Championship, which comes with it a lot of prize money as well. So Alfa Romeo, bad start to the day, bad start to the weekend or week, as it's Tuesday to Wednesday, not a weekend. But they got 13th and 18th. Real struggle for Sally Soltunk in the first two qualifying sessions, really far down the field. And Daniel Bresnay running in the top half, then he got held up in the pit lane because the way the game is, and the way the pit lane is, if you're the car at the end of the pit lane, you're going to get jumped by the other teams who are coming in before you, like the Mercedes and the Red Bull, are always going to jump the likes of the Alphas because they're coming through and they're going to get priority over the guys behind them. So a bit frustrating there for the Alfa Romeo driver, but he was still running in P9, then got 2 penalties. Not really too sure the reasons behind those. One was for, I think, not giving another driver enough room, so unfortunate for him there, and he finished down in 18th position. So like we say, not a good day for them. Then 9th and 5th, so a little bit of an improvement, or a big improvement really on those results. Points, Daniel Bresnay in P5, getting a good amount of points, 10 points for himself, and then Sally Soltunk with a incredible drive from 19th all the way to 9th, so gaining 10 positions there and getting 2 points, which were vital for the team because they won it by I think like 4 to 6 points, I think it was in the end of the day, or they got third by 4 to 6 points. So very well done to him. And then final race, all on the line, and they did it. First for Daniel Bresnay, another race win under his belt, 3 for the season, and setting himself up very nicely for the 2020 season. I believe he is probably going to be with Alfa Romeo again next year. So he will definitely be back, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him fighting at the front and hopefully for himself be a lot happier and not have the bad luck they had this season, because dreadful luck throughout the season. If we didn't have that, who knows, maybe he could have challenged for the championship as well. And then Sally Soltunk with a good end to the season. It starts off well for him. Then there was that mid-stage period through the halfway stage of the season where it was just like, missed out on points, or 1 point here, 1 point there. And then he managed to get P4. So a good drive. Unfortunately, just missing out on the podium. Would have loved to see him get on the podium because he kind of needed it for his own personal gain going into the next season, so it would have been great for him. But Alfa Romeo securing P3 in the Constructors' Championship. Then moving on to Renault and Yannick Opmeer and Simon Weigang coming into the car for this season, for this weekend or this event. Very well done for him. It's hard stepping into the car, stepping into someone else's shoes, because it's, you don't necessarily have the practice. He's a rookie as well, so he doesn't have too much of a feel for what happened last season. Some of these guys coming in, but then so does Cedric Tomé and also Yannick Opmeer. They're all rookies in that Renault team. So very well done to all of them, really, to secure 4th in the Drivers' Championship. A big turnaround to what happened last year. I'm pretty sure they finished last in the in the Constructors' Championship last year. So big turnaround for him, and he must be very, very happy with that. Yannick Opmeer getting 6th in the first race, then 4th, then 12th. So good results for him. And Simon getting a point in the first race, and then 7th. Just missing out. Maybe if he got 1 or 2 more positions in Brazil, he's really probably trying to push. And also Yannick Opmeer getting 12th, just needed those 2 more positions, one of them, and they could have been P3 in the Constructors' title. So just missing out there, but a really, really good result for the likes of the Renault guys. Now moving on to Mercedes. Oh God, voice is going talking for so long. Brendan Lee, it's been a bit of a weird season for Brendan Lee, and maybe a kick up the bum for him to try and put in that effort. A lot of guys have improved over the distance between last year's coming into this year. So for him, maybe that was a shock, or maybe he's just more relaxed. Maybe he's just like, this season hasn't really gone to plan. I've had bad luck. Let's just put it behind us. Let's already focus on next year, and let's just try and enjoy it. Let's just try and enjoy the rest of the 2019 season. He did a good job in the end, though, 7th in Japan, and then he got on the podium. So seeing Brendan Lee back at the top is definitely what we all want to see. We want to see the champion. Danny, what on earth have you got there? Is this to take home for your P3?
Yes.
And a win.
And
yes.
3 wins.
With 3 wins. I'm talking about today. A win, and we got you got P3.
First event, I decided that these would look cool on my wall, so I will steal them after the final. And actually, they didn't allow me to do it, but it's not a question of allowance; it's a question of power.
Right. What
And
I
leave
want to
them
know.
off of our
What I
racing.
want to know though is how are you getting these back home to Hungary with you?
I don't know. We are Veloce Esports professional organization. We will solve it.
Okay. Well, we look forward to trying to solve this situation for you and getting these on your wall in Hungary. Very well done for today. Happy with the race win. You must be ecstatic going into next season with Alfa again next season.
Yes, probably.
Yes. Probably. Let's wait and see confirmation on that. But yeah, hopefully we see you racing next year, and we'll join you for partying. See you later. Right, let's carry on. No one else is coming through. Notes, and no one else to talk to. Unless you want to grab Arava TV. He's just, he's doing his own thing over there, and we've spoken to Arava TV too much. He's too much on this channel. Let's just don't worry about him. Right, Alfa Romeo, we've done those. So on to Mercedes, on to third for Brendan Lee, and then 11th in the last race. Just stuck in that train. There was a big train behind the likes of who was it? I think it was. It was behind everyone. It was like Daniel Bresnay all the way down to, what was it, like P11, 12, 13, way down the field. Just a big train of cars. Unfortunately, when you have that, your gain of the DRS is just cut out because everyone's got that DRS power and that advantage, so you just don't get an advantage and you're just driving like a normal car, and it's very, even though you do have a long straight in Brazil, it's still quite difficult to overtake for them, unfortunately, as still no one's really coming through that we can talk to. And then Patrick Kreutsch, 14th, then 12th, not a good day for him, although he is improving, he's right on the edge of the point, and maybe with Mercedes, with the likes of Brendan Lee, really going to put in that effort for next season and come back strong and take back that Constructors World Championship. Let's see if that can happen, because that would be absolutely brilliant. And then Daniel Shields, the rookie again, P13, stepping into the car after Patrick Kreutsch. P13, not a bad result, but again, we'll be looking to try and improve that for next season. And it'll be interesting to see with these teams, because now the season's over, I believe they have to drop one of the drivers. I think I can hear Daniel Beresnay singing again in the distance. I don't even know where that is. I'm trying to have a look. I don't know if you can see, Callum, if you can want to go have a look around and see if it's, I don't even know. Maybe there's a Chelsea game going on, actually. So it's probably that. Everything's popping off at the moment in Fulham Broadway. Chelsea against Aston Villa. Who knows the score? I mean, we can find out, but let's talk about more important things. So what we talked about, yes, each team, I believe, has to drop one of the drivers from the roster. So they have 3 drivers in their roster. So Mercedes, for example, have Brendan Lee, Patrick Kreutsch and Daniel Shields. So it'd be interesting to see which one of those 3 drivers gets dropped. Also, the likes of Red Bull, 3 very strong drivers. Which one will get dropped from those? And will they pick them back up in the Pro Draft in the next year? Because the bottom teams, so the likes of Haas, are going to get the first pick for the drivers next year. So they could pick up a driver that Red Bull had to drop and be like, okay, thank you very much, we've now got a top driver, and then start to compete for next year. That's what makes this championship so interesting is, one season, they might be down there, but there's an advantage and there's a chance to go back up in the next season. So it will be interesting to see over this off period, and whenever the F1 esports scene comes back, who's going to be in each team, what's going to happen in the Pro Draft, and who gets dropped and who gets picked up again. So let's wait and see for that. Let's move on now to Racing Point. Marcel Kiefer not in the car for the final event, for the whole final event, which was quite interesting to see. He had a very strong performance, got his first race win in F1 esports, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame that we didn't see him in the car for the whole season, or even challenging for the championship, or challenging the likes of the guys who were like 4th or 5th, because there was definitely that chance to do it. I feel like the likes of Brendan Lee, Enzo Benito, or Bono Rees got past him because of that. So a bit disappointing there for Marcel Kiefer, lovely lad. So would have been good to see him with a good result to end the year on, but it's a shame for that. But stepping in the car was Lucas Bakeley, and boy did he show his potential. As there he is, Lucas, come over here. P2 in your first, or not your first race, but your first race of today's event. You must be happy with that. And a good showing through the rest of a P9 as well in the final race. So how do you feel about the whole event coming into it and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to get second race in P2, 2 and 2 go together, but it was, I'm a bit gutted right now because we were fighting for P5 in the Constructors, and it was like, I think it's 6 points between like 5th, 6th, 7th, and we're bottom of that pile. So I'm so happy that I got a good result, a good qualifying, to get a lot off my, to get a lot off my chest as such. But right now I'm a bit like, what could have been. But overall, I'll take these positives and move on to next year for sure, because it's been for the 4 races I've done, it's been one hell of a experience.
Well, it's been a good story for you. Obviously, you didn't get picked in last year's draft, and then you got picked in this year's draft, and then doing a couple of races, getting P2, showing Racing Point that there is a reason to stick with you next year. And are you hoping that you're going to be in here next year? You've proved a point. You've got P2 in a very competitive field. It is so close in this season. So you've proved your point. Will you be hoping to get that drive next season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, as you say, it is really, really competitive. The guys here are just all in the top of their game nearly all of the time, and it's like to catch someone on an off day. It's not the place to have an off day when they've got the whole grid covered by like 6/10. So it's crazy, but I feel like I'm happy with how I've done. I've shown the team what I can do with that P2. I've been racing for a long time with karting and stuff, but coming back to esports and racing competitively under such pressure for the first time, it still does take a bit to get used to again. So I'm super happy with what I've done. Well,
the pressure's over now. The event and the whole series is finally finished. You can go off and party, and we will hopefully see you back next season. So well done on today, and go and enjoy yourself, and we'll see you hopefully next season. Cool. Right, see you later. Right, let's carry on with the rest. So good time in that, talking about Racing Point, and then Lucas Blakely shows up. So going through the rest, where are we? Yes, so P2 for him, great result in Suzuka. Strategy was key for him at the end of the day, and then he got in front of everyone else, and defending work was brilliant. It's very difficult to overtake around that Suzuka track, so to be able to hold position is easier than other tracks, but he did it brilliantly. You can still have that opportunity down and towards turn 1, and he did a brilliant job to do that. Then 15th, then 9th, just missing out, like he said, on I think it was P5 in the it would have been P5 in the championships. That's a little bit unfortunate for them. 3 teams. It must be Mercedes, Racing Point, and McLaren. Unfortunately, we don't get all the race results. It's so quickly, literally it wraps up, and then we get kicked out 10 minutes after. So a bit annoying that, but. Very well done to a Racing Point at the end of the season. I think was it better than last season? I don't actually know, but maybe I shouldn't talk about stuff that I don't really know what's going on. Right, Williams. Well, then I should probably just stop talking about F1 esports then if I don't want to talk about stuff that I know that's going on. Rambling as usual. Williams, right, P5 for Alvaro Carreton. Great showing, great quali lap for him in Japan. Putting it on pole, beating Frederick Rasmussen by 9 thousandths of a second, which is absolutely fantastic. Then P7 for him in the next race, which was Austin, and then 3rd in the final race in Brazil. So a great final event for Alvaro Carreton. He's such a young kid as well, so it's great for him to show his potential. Stayed on with Williams for a second season as they kept him and Tino, and it's really good to see that that Alvaro can show that he has got potential and see what he can do next year, because he's just getting more experience, better mentally prepared. Matt, you're always in these. Come on, I know you want to. Come on, step over. Nah, come on, do it. No, that would have been in best of December moments. Come on, right. How sad are you right now that it's all over?
I'm still kind of in that show sort of buzz, so it doesn't feel like it's over. But
so you'll cry to yourself tonight.
Well, yeah, the after party, of course. I'll drown my sorrows. But yeah, no, it was an amazing show. It was a little bit of an anticlimax with the final, and I don't think the racing was that good this evening. Just there was too many trains.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably maybe down to the tracks. I don't know. Like Brazil does, as much as Brazil in real life, it's a different kind of characteristic to the game where you can't really get past in a train. So
it's the slipstream and the DRS train. Once one person's got DRS, then the other person's got it, and you just can't really catch up to anybody, and you're just stuck behind everybody in a train. And then you can't have that ERS tactic because everyone's using the same ERS at the same point. So
exactly, and everyone's so cautious as well, and they don't want to make moves that will lose a bit of front wing, and then they lose a second a lap, and so maybe there's some changes into 2020. I'd like to see them do some more changes with the format, maybe make it so they have to go on all 3 compounds of tyres. I don't know, something to kind of just mix it up. But then if you do that, you'd probably need a longer race. So there's a bit of tweaking to do, I think. But overall, I think it's still growing, and it's still developing in its areas with every F1 team being involved.
F1 Esports, if you're watching, because we know you're regular watchers of the Veloce Esports channel.
F1 Esports?
Just F1 Esports, just the whole F1 Esports, right? The whole whole
entity.
Whole F1 Esports. Matthew Gallagher is here, and he has everything that you need to know to make next season good. So no pressure.
Yeah.
I've just given you a job.
Right.
And you need to
give me a job.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, I've just mentioned that, changing the format. But I think F1 Esports 2020, if you look towards maybe Well, I would love to, go to some races because we did it in Abu Dhabi for 2017, and it was an amazing spectacle. I know there's a lot of funding that needs to be put behind that. Here comes Tim at Marduk to come and, yeah, there you go, shock. But yeah, I think just
jacket's so reflective.
But just changing the format a little bit, have a bit more fun with it. It doesn't necessarily mean turning it into a 50% race because I think that you'd lose some viewers. But I think have fun with the format, change the spectacle in terms of, okay, we can still be at the Gfinity Arena. It's an awesome place to have a hub, but let's go out to some races.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing, I think.
Nice little support races where we don't have other support races. So let's look into that for next season. That would be brilliant. Well, we're going to let you head off because you're a busy man, lots of people to see, lots of people to talk to.
Hotel,
yep.
And then get my drinks tokens for the
awesome. Okay, right, we'll see you at the after party. Have a good evening. Right, see you later for the last time this year. Right, you come here. This notebook's going to be a long one, but it is the finale, of course. It's taken us 4 events, and you get out of here. Don't you come back, all right? It's taken us 4 events, but finally, we're having a chat. Hello.
Hi, my name's Ben. Subscribe to me on YouTube, TM at Marduk.
He has a YouTube channel called TM at Marduk. It's all right,
5 subscribers.
Yeah.
Give away at 10.
Right, here we go. We can finally ask you, did you enjoy that? How did you, what did you think of that F1 Esports event?
That was really intense. Like the final race there with Danny, I was like, has he got the pace over Tonizza or does he not? Is it all slipstream based? But Danny, smart as ever, he was planning out his attack and timed it well and was able to fend off Tonizza to win the final race of the season, giving himself some good momentum for 2020.
We all know that you're like the league racer of the YouTube scene. You like to think that you've got that potential to maybe one day be an esports driver. What would it take for you to get in one of those rigs and actually take part in this event? Not lots of practice.
And not uploading anymore. That'll be about it. Yeah, it's just.
But you've got an average channel with 5 subs anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I should not focus on YouTube anymore and just focus on that. But yeah, it's all practice. Like these guys are obviously very, very talented, but they also have the time and dedication to get themselves to that level, which us peasants we don't. Yeah. We can't be bothered.
I mean, speak for yourself. I'm pretty decent,
Race winner here.
Yeah, race winner on the open lobby. So
Yeah.
So
pretty beastly.
There is a lot of hours, a lot of time that goes into all of this, and if you're not on that pace, if you've not got that practice, then you're just going to be miles. Look at Frederick today, P10 in Brazil because he didn't practice.
I mean, that was even impressive in itself. The fact that he didn't really practice, he was just relying on his natural talent and pace. And just drawing upon previous experience that he's got at Brazil, very impressive to even be that competitive against the best in the world.
Yeah. But hopefully, hopefully if he did practice, he would have been up at the top and we would have had a championship fight that we wanted. But we didn't get it. Hopefully we get it next year. What are your expectations for next year's F1 Esports Championship?
Who bloody knows at this point? We don't even know.
Go to Australia? Don't go there. It's full of spiders, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty out there. But in all honesty, you got to wait until the next game comes out. Like it could be a whole different kettle of fish. We could see some people that we've not even heard of come up through the ranks. There's a lot of young guys coming up through the junior series, so it's all up for grabs. So I'll sit on the fence and ask me next year.
Cool. Right, well, we will ask you. We will hold on to that question until next year. We're going to let you shoot off. You going to the after party or are you going back home?
I think so. I don't know if my name's on the list or not, but
I don't even know if my name's on the list, but we just say I'm from Haydon's notebook, so come on, let me in.
I'll write on your frame and we'll get
it. Okay, I'll smug you under this jacket.
Sounds good.
Right, okay, we'll see you in a bit. You head off there. And goodbye to TM at Marduk. Right, let's wrap this up because we've been talking for an absolute age. Williams we've done, or Tino and Alcarin 16th and 10th and 20th, so not a good day. Isaac Price actually stepped in the car for the final race. We got 20th, then we go to McLaren, P9, then a P2, really good result for McLaren for Enzo Benito in Austin. So P2 in that race, then 17th, so not a good showing. And I believe they were involved in that battle between Racing Point. Then you also had maybe even Williams. I don't even know what teams, but there was a big battle for the likes of 5th position in the Constructors Championship. Bono Weiss was 12th, then 8th, got the fastest lap in the second race, which I believe is 1 extra point. I think they do that for esports. Then 19th as well for him. Then we go to Haas. We've got Fehler in 17th, 18th, 14th. Not a good season for Haas. They really need to look into next season, recuperate. Do they need to put in more hours in the practice, or do they need to look at getting new drivers? Only time will tell. We will have to wait until the draft, until the teams are announced next season to see what exactly they do with their team, with their situation for next year. 19th for Veers, then 16th and 16th. So again, not a good showing for them. And then Toro Rosso 11th, then a DNF for Cembelet Bassi, then Biancolilla, as I probably struggled and completely got that pronunciation wrong. Got P18 in the final race coming into the Cembelet Bassi seat. And then Patrick Holtzman getting third. Good result actually for him, because he'd been struggling all season. Maybe it was just bad luck for him, and then really being able to show his pace in the Japanese Grand Prix. P3, strategy as well, like Lucas Blakely, but you still have to be quick to hold off the guys behind you, and he did a great job of that. Then P19 for him, and then P8 in the final race, and that rounds up the notebook. We managed to get through all the teams at the end. Sorry for a longer video, but it's the grand finale. We have so much to talk about. So, it's sad. It's sad that it's all over. We've got to wait till next year. We don't even know what's going to be happening next year. Hopefully, it's a brilliant spectacle and it goes bigger and better and beyond everything that everyone's been saying, all these imaginations. But until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Veloce channel to see more of this stuff, and leave a like on it if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below what you thought of the F1 Esports Grand Finale. But until next year, for the last time, it's goodbye from me. This weekend will mark the final race of the 2019 Formula 1 season. But before the drivers can sit next to the fire waiting to see what Santa brought them, they will have to tackle the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. But how do you perfect a lap around this beautiful man-made island? Let us break down a lap from our